Hi guys, Aaron Dorr here, Director of the New York State Firearms Association, with an update for you guys on the Stand Your Ground law push that's underway right now in Albany. You know, as you've heard probably in our previous videos, one of the real problems in our fight for gun rights in New York State as New Yorkers for a long time has been, it's been pretty much one-sided. Cuomo acts, legislature attacks our gun rights, gun owners are on defense. It's been a very tough slog for a very long time. Everybody knows that. And while we have to still always be on defense against their attacks on our freedom, it's also essential that as gun owners, we go on offense and go on attack and push these people back with bills like Stand Your Ground law. And it gives them one of two choices. They can either pass the bill, which would be fantastic, or they can kill the bill, at which time we then have what we need to go after them in their districts at election time and expose them in front of gun owners in their district. I've had the real pleasure of doing that. I've worked in a lot of states in the fight for gun rights. I've worked in Iowa, worked in Missouri, and in Wyoming, and passed this bill in all of those states. And part of the battle in passing legislation like this is getting these votes or getting them to kill the bill and then using the results of that against their vulnerable incumbents at election time. Now, we're a 501c4, so we can't tell folks who to vote for. We're not going to make that mistake. But what we can do is expose the records of incumbent legislators at election time. And that's exactly what we're going to do if this bill is shot down. So it's a really good tactical maneuver for us as gun owners. Now, on to the minutia of this particular video. We're getting questions from gun owners about the idea of civil immunity. What does civil immunity mean for me? How do we avail ourselves to this? Because we all know how this plays out. We've all heard these stories, right? You're attacked in a public place. You're attacked even in your own home. And the person you're forced to use force against then comes at you later, or if he's dead, his estate comes after you later, right? And tries to bankrupt you with a $10 million civil lawsuit. And as the old phrase goes in civil court, even if you win, you lose. Even if you defend yourself successfully against these BS civil charges, you're going to spend $50,000, $100,000, $250,000, maybe even more in legal fees to deal with this ridiculous situation. And so in many states right now that have Stand Your Ground law, they have also incorporated a civil immunity statute with that legislation. Our bill here is built off of these successes that we've had in these other states, and it does exactly that. It does it in two separate ways. I'm going to read off the exact language here in the bill that I have here in front of me right now. So the first thing it's going to do is grant blanket immunity if you use justifiable force. It says, this is on page 2, this is on Senate 7915, the bill sponsored by Senator Rob Ort, Senate File 7915. A person who is justified in threatening or using physical force against another person in defense of himself, herself, another person, or property pursuant to this section, that person is immune from civil liability for any damages incurred by the aggressor pursuant to the application of reasonable physical force or the threatened use of force. So as you just heard, whether you actually used force or displayed your weapon and said you would use force, you threatened to use force, you would be immune from civil prosecution if your force was justified, it says right there, and reasonable. And so there's no way that this can be used by a criminal. They can't find some way to use this language to get some kind of a leverage over you and I, law-abiding citizens. Only if your force or the threatened use of force was justified and reasonable does this apply. But if your force was justified, you would be immune from civil liability. That's how it should be. There should never be a situation, ever, in this country where a gun owner is forced to defend himself against a violent aggressor and then has to defend himself again from that same person or his estate in court. But the way our system of government is right now in New York State, we all know how this works. With the criminal bail reform crap from last session, the law is always on the side of the criminals, and they know that, and they get to use that to be more emboldened as they attack law-abiding people. This bill would reverse this idea and make it very clear to everybody that law-abiding citizens have the upper hand in New York. Now, we know what's going to happen, right? There's going to be liberal judges, because they're almost all liberal judges right now, who are going to say, screw the law, I am the law, I'm above the law, whatever, I'm going to grant this civil case anyway, right? That could very easily happen. We all know that. We've addressed that as well with a pretrial immunity clause found on the top of page 3. In other words, if this person tries to attack you, forces you to shoot them, right, and it's justified, and you're granted immunity then from that civil action. And if a judge says, you know what, screw you, I'm going to have you come before my court anyway, we want to make sure that there's some way that you can stave off the expense of a full civil trial by having a pre-trial immunity hearing. And at that hearing, if the other side cannot present a basic case of a clear and convincing standard, the judge shall dismiss this before you have to go to the expense of a very costly civil case. The language reads as follows. It's about 5 lines long. So here it goes. It says, a party may move to dismiss a cause of action on the basis that the moving party, that'd be us, used reasonable force under Section 3515 of the penal law. Upon filing a motion to dismiss, the court shall, not may, shall hold a hearing prior, not after, prior to trial, and shall grant such motion unless the party responding to the motion proves by clear and convincing evidence that the force used was not reasonable or justified. So it's very simple. The court shall hold this hearing, and it shall be done prior to the actual civil action against you. And if the other side cannot prove a clear and convincing case against you, this case shall be dismissed. And that is the way it should be. And we're sick and tired of seeing gun owners who are prosecuted criminally, much less civilly, because they used defensive force. Sick and tired of seeing people bankrupted in civil court after the fact because some piece of trash attacked them or their families, their loved ones, and forced them to use defensive force. The law protects the criminals right now in New York State. This bill would reverse that and protect you and I, law-abiding citizens, again. As I mentioned a minute ago, this is going to be a long-time fight. There's no question about it. But if these lawmakers, if these lying politicians in the Capitol, if they shut this bill down, guess what? We have elections coming up, and Donald Trump's on top of the ballot. This will be our chance to go on offense, to go on the attack, and to hold these people accountable, especially legislators in vulnerable districts. This would be a wonderful chance for us to hold them accountable. So guys, get involved in this fight. As you just heard, it's going to grant incredible civil immunity protections to gun owners, but we have to keep this pressure on. So do a couple things for me right now. First of all, beneath this video is a link where you can send your pre-written email into Albany telling your legislators, senators, and assemblymen, we want you to co-sponsor this bill. Some of them are going to do it. Some already have. Some are going to say, screw you. But that's okay because, guys, we're building up the pressure for the elections. So help us keep the pressure on. Fire off those emails. That's number one. Number two, join up. Get involved in this fight. It is going on right now. It's hot. It's happening in real time. We need you to stand alongside of us. If you want to become a member, there's a link beneath the video here as well. Or you can go to the website. It's joinnysfa.com to get involved. joinnysfa.com to become a member. Finally, if you're not receiving our email updates, you're missing out. That's where all of our best information comes out, is on our email program. If you're not receiving those emails, Take a moment and go to another one of our websites and sign up to receive our messages. That website address, the link is beneath the video, but you can also go to NYSFAupdates.com. It's very simple. It's our acronym, NYSFAupdates.com, and you can opt in right there to receive messages from us, which come right to your phone, right to your email inbox in real time. So guys, this is going to be the big gun rights battle of our time. Get involved in this fight. Fire off the emails. Share this video with your friends. More to come, guys.